Last year, our next guest received Academy Award nominations as Best Actor and Best Director for his film Henry V. He also directs and co-stars in Dead Again, which opens across the country later this month. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kenneth Branagh. You know, Kenneth, I want to apologize to you because beginning last night, I was not sure. I was uncertain as to how to pronounce your name, and I've sort of been kind of running around it the last 24 hours. For me now, how do you pronounce your last name properly?
Branagh.
Branagh. Oh, well, I was
You've been doing
close.
it brilliantly, yeah. Sometimes in Belfast or Scotland they say Branagh.
Yeah, they add extra stuff.
They put that stuff I can't do.
Yeah. You know, you seem like a very young man. You seem, well, can I, yeah, sure, what are you, like 35?
I'm 30. I'm
30 years old.
I feel 110, but I'm in fact 30.
So now, this to me seems like even more of an impressive situation to find yourself as actor and director, especially in something like Henry V.
Well, it was certainly a scary experience. I mean, it was partly, partly though my own kind of manic energy. I really wanted to do the play. I thought it could be a great movie, and I managed to persuade somebody who was as mad as I was to try and raise the money for it. But it wasn't because somebody said, "Hey, you're 28 or whatever I was at the time. You ought to direct a big movie." It was because I said, "I'm 28. I ought to direct a big movie."
Yeah.
You know?
So you talked them into it.
I talked them into it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it seemed to me like one or the other would probably kill 8 regular guys. You know, you either star in the film or you direct it, but don't do both.
Yeah, well, it was scary, but, you get the right people around you. I mean, I think it's a kind of myth, that it's a kind of one-man caboodle. You've got a whole pile of people around you. You've got the DOP and the editor's brilliant, and, people do it for you, actually.
So you say get the right people around you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Kenneth.
It's nothing. It's
no business insight here. But when you're working with, and I would guess that a film like that attracts sort of a specialized group of actors. Now, were you working on this film with people who had also played the part elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it was scary. I did a read-through for this thing there was like 5 other people who played Henry V with the Royal Shakespeare Company. There was Paul Schofield, there was Ian Holm, there was Derek Jacobi, there was all these people. It was scary, but it was also helpful because they'd all been there before me. So I found actually when I was doing things, people would often kind of wink at me. That's another technique, by the way. If they thought I was doing it well. So that was I had a kind of lot of help from those people as well. Actors are pretty kind to each other on the whole, and having 5 people who played it, I was able to steal 5 different sets of ideas for that character.
Were there things that you found yourself doing in the film that later showed up and represented something completely different from what you intended,
Well, it was just, I remember we shot the first day's rushes, and, the biggest thing that I had to do was actually, in a court, this kind of opening assembly scene, the whole of the English court were gathered there, and for the first time in the afternoon, I actually had to shoot myself on screen. I had to do a bit of acting. And I discovered, I thought I was getting through it okay. I was a bit nervy, but I could do that. And I could appear to be a king, but in fact my hands were shaking and my, knuckles were white. Well, I saw the dailies the next day, and my voice was about an octave higher than it should normally be. And although I thought I was very good, I sounded ridiculous. But because I could be the megalomaniacal director, I was able to redo it a day later when they'd all gone.
Yeah, but if you had left it in and then later people looking at the film say, that thing he does with the voice is brilliant.
It's incredible, Well, I tell you, what was good, though, was the film was shot in chronological order. So, I mean, I was terrified. I was pretty... It's the same with this picture as well. I mean, every morning before I went in, I felt pretty sick and thought I was going to be found out. Somebody would come in a van and say, no, you're no good.
Yeah.
Off you go. We found out, we rang someone, and they told us, you're terrible, you have no talent. You understand? You have no talent.
We have your high school records.
Yeah.
And you grew up where? What part of Ireland?
I grew up in Belfast. I was born in Northern Ireland. And
what is life like that for a youngster?
Well, I grew up before the resurgence of the current troubles. I left when I was 9 in 1970, and I've been back a lot since I've been acting. In the last 10 years, I've been back once a year. It's, you know, if there can be a kind of normal life in the situation that exists there, there is. There's a lot of people who want to make things work and are getting on with things, and although it's constantly there as a backdrop, Belfast is a very vibrant city. It's a very kind of alive place, and I have a lot of very warm memories of it. I like to go back.
What was it like when you were a kid, you and your family there?
Well, it was we had a great kind of, it was a working class neighborhood. There was a big extended family, thousands of aunts and uncles and stuff, and I remember a lot of things. It was pretty strict, you know. I used to go to Sunday school. I used to be sent as the family representative to church, which was a kind of scary thing, you know.
Designated hitter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like, you know, my parents saying, you've got to grow up to learn to believe in God. That's why we're sending you out. We have to watch television this evening, but you should go. You should go. And you get, you know, I don't know if you've heard of Ian Paisley over here, but a kind of slightly fire and brimstone unionist preacher over there, and also politician. But he has that kind of stentorian thing, you know, that's a kind of tub-thumping thing. I remember that. I mean, my first experience of really organized Christian religion was going to Sunday school and being told, when you die, you will arrive at a road. And on that road there will be a fork, and one road will be long and straight and narrow, and you will go to heaven. On that road there will be another road, and that will be winding and long and terrible, and that will go to hell. And be sure you remember the right road. So I go home. I knew I should have written it down. I knew I should have written it down. The next evening, I wake up, bolt upright in the middle of the night. Which road? Oh, my God, which road goes to heaven? Which goes to hell? You know, I was in a terrible turmoil. Maybe they got signposts up there. Maybe, you know, maybe you can buy a road map. I don't know. But, I mean, it was absolutely terrifying. And, you know, it was several days before I thought, hold on, I'm not sure whether this is a religion I wish to follow, because I'm terrified, you know.
And meanwhile, the folks are at home watching TV on Sundays.
Meanwhile, they're watching television. I'm just collecting envelopes to put on the plate.
Let's see, Dad, again, now you again, the same deal here, as you mentioned. You direct this one and star in this one, and your wife is in it also.
Yeah, she is. It's a great thriller, which I read, couldn't put it down, a real page-turning, kind of very exciting, kind of gothic thing, very reminiscent of old Hitchcock movies. It has a lot of allusions to those in it.
And you're pleased with your work and your wife's work and your directing in this?
Well, I'm relieved it's finished, and I'm delighted. The story is great. The script is a terrific. It really is a terrific yarn, and it's a, you know, it's all the classic ingredients: private eye, creepy house, mysterious hypnotist, girl with no memory, murder in the past. Is it going to be repeated in the future with people who may or may not be reincarnated as the people from the 40s?
Trying to slip a little hot, wet meat in there.
Yeah,
The film opens Friday?
The film opens August 23rd.
August 23rd, so that's in a few weeks then.
A couple of weeks' time.
Pleasure to meet you.
Great, Jan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kenneth Branagh. We'll be right back. Did we mention you? Did we get your wife's name? Did we mention your wife?
Emma Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Very talented actress.
Terrific. Paul, what was the name of that song?
Then You Can Tell Me Goodbye.
Yeah, who was it?
The Casinos recorded it back in the 60s.
In this century?
No.
It sounds great, though. We're done. Kenneth, pleasure to meet you. My thanks to, of course, Paul Brady and Paul Reiser. Try to tune in tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you. Good night, everybody.